There was once a poor man named Daniel. He had nothing left in this world except his wife and his 2 small children. Every night, their tiny voices cried out in hunger. Their pale faces, their tired eyes, their empty stomachs were more than Daniel's heart could bear. He sat in the dark, his head in his hands. What can I do for my children? That night, Daniel walked the cold, empty streets. He knocked on doors, begging for work, pleading for food. But door after door was closed in his face. Finally, a friend looked at him with pity. He reached into his hand and gave him a small piece of cake. Daniel held it carefully, trembling as if it were gold. This will keep my children alive tonight. On his way home, Daniel saw a poor woman sitting on the ground. Her clothes were torn. Her face was streaked with dust. Beside her, a young boy sat, weak and silent. But his eyes locked onto Daniel's hand, onto the piece of cake. The boy's lips trembled, his eyes begged silently, and the mother tried to hide her tears, but they slid down her face like rivers of sorrow.
Daniel froze. His heart pounded. If he gave the cake, his own children would go hungry again. If he kept it, this boy might starve. His soul battled inside of him. Finally, his hands shook as he knelt before the child. "Eat, my son." The boy reached out eagerly and devoured the cake. And the mother, she cried out loud, not from sorrow, but from joy. Daniel walked home in silence. His hands were empty, but his heart heavy. What will I tell them? What will I say to my children? But when he stepped inside, his wife ran to him, with a smile brighter than the sun. "Daniel," she cried, "a man came today." Look, on the table lay a bag of money, glowing with hope. A messenger had brought it, the return of an old debt from Daniel's father, long forgotten. Daniel fell to his knees. A miracle. With that money, Daniel built a business. It grew. It flourished. It made him rich. He gave coins to the poor, bread to the hungry, homes to the homeless. People praised him. They spoke his name with honor. And Daniel believed, with all his heart, that he was destined for paradise. One night, Daniel dreamed. He stood in a great court of light. Angels surrounded a mighty scale. On one side, they placed his good deeds. On the other, they placed his sins. Daniel's heart sank as the side of sins grew heavier, his good deeds too light. "No," Daniel cried. "I gave wealth. I built homes. I helped the poor." But the angels answered softly, "You did it for praise, for honor, for people's eyes, not from your heart." Then the heavens filled with radiant light. "Is there anything good left for this man?" The angels bowed low and answered, "No, Lord, there is nothing left." But the voice declared, "No, there is still one thing left, the piece of cake." The angels placed the small piece of cake upon the scale.
At once, it began to glow, brighter and brighter, until it became like a mountain of light. The scale shook and trembled, and that one small act outweighed all of his sins. But then, the voice spoke again.
"Is there anything more?"
The angels replied, "No, Lord, there is nothing more." But the voice declared,
"Yes, there are still her tears."
The mother's tears, shed for joy when her child ate, were gathered like diamonds. The angels placed them on the scale, and the tears tipped it completely. Daniel's good now outweighed his evil. The heavens grew silent, and then the voice spoke again.
"Daniel, your sins are forgiven. Your heart has been weighed. Your kindness has outweighed your evil. Now you may enter the gates of heaven."
Daniel's eyes filled with tears, but suddenly he awoke. He was back in his home. It was only a dream. Yet his heart burned with hope.